Hello mga Kamani-wise! Welcome back to my channel. In this video, meron akong share na 12 dividend funds that pay regular dividends. Most of them pay monthly dividends. So if you're looking for investments na nagbibigay ng regular cash flow, this video is for you. Klaruhin ko lang ang dividend funds na pag-usapan natin in this video ay investment funds. Dividend funds are investment funds that invest in assets like stocks and fixed income instruments that pay regular dividends. These are managed by professional fund managers kaya meron siyang annual management fees. These are pooled funds na pinagsasama-sama galing sa investments ng iba't ibang investors. The goal of a dividend paying fund is to give investors consistent income. And if you choose to reinvest your dividends, you benefit from compounding, which can also help your investment grow even faster over time. Aside from the regular income, meron ding potential for capital appreciation, especially if the fund includes equities sa holdings niya. Reminder lang, dividend funds also come with risk. Even if they give regular dividends, ang value ng fund can go up and down depende sa market conditions. Pwedeng bumaba ang value ng investment mo, and that's normal because that's how the market works. So you should invest based on your risk appetite. Before I start, shout out muna sa mga bagong YouTube channel members kina Kevin Steve, Bart Idan, Renato, Lance Hill, Romel, Bernie, Hunter, Avenom, Feeva, RC, Mark, Arturo, Jonalyn, Alfredo, Maricar, and Sandra Irene. Maraming salamat for joining as channel members and supporting my YouTube channel. I really appreciate your support. Let's start with Atram. Atram has 4 feeder funds that give regular dividends. Isang nagbibigay ng monthly dividends and the other 3 ay nagbibigay naman ng quarterly dividends. Unang fund is Atram Global Multi-Asset Income Feeder Fund. Meron siyang peso and dollar class, which means pwede kang mag-invest in peso or dollar. This fund invests at least 90% of its assets in the target fund. Ang target fund niya is JP Morgan Global Income Fund. Ang annual fees ay 1.15%. In terms of asset allocation, 46.8% ay invested sa equities and 44.2% naman sa fixed income instruments to provide both income and growth potential. Ang biggest holding ng target fund is JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF at 6.4%. This ETF focuses on income through options strategies. Ang code ng ETF is JEPQ. Nagbibigay ito ng monthly dividends. So, pwede kang bumili ng ETF na ito kung may account ka sa foreign broker like GoTrade and Interactive Brokers. Meron ding big tech company sa top 10 holdings ng fund na ito to provide growth. For the regional exposure, the largest allocation is in the US, nasa 66.5%, followed by Europe excluding UK. And the rest ay nakadiversify across emerging markets, UK, Canada, Japan, and other parts of Asia. Monthly ang distribution ng dividend ng fund na ito. Ang annualized yield is 5.6% to 6.02%. Average yield is 5.9%. Net dividend yield na ito. Here's the performance ng fund. Cumulative performance is the total growth of the fund over a specific time period. The fund returns include the dividends paid out on distribution and net of fees na rin, which means bawas na ang fees dito kasi naka-incorporate na siya sa NAV ng fund. Ang 1-year return including dividends ay 8.51% and 3-year return naman ay 22%. So, hindi ganun kalaki ang growth, which is expected because this is a balanced fund. Ang main focus ng fund is to provide income. Bonus ang capital appreciation. Mas mababa ang performance ng fund versus the target fund kasi 90% lang ang naka-invest sa target fund. Plus may annual fees pa na nabawas. The target fund naman does not exactly copy the benchmark. Ginagamit ang benchmark as reference. Next fund is Atram Global Bond Income Feeder Fund. This is a fixed income fund suitable for investors with moderately aggressive risk profile. Ang target fund niya is PIMCO Global Investor Series Diversified Income Fund. Annual fees ay mas mababa at 0.9%. It invests in a broad mix of bonds from companies and governments around the world. Nagbibigay siya ng quarterly dividends at ang annualized yield ay 5.05% to 5.62%. Average yield is 5.43%. Since this is a fixed income fund, expected na walang masyadong growth sa fund. 1-year return is 8.31% and 3-year return is 22.8%, including all the income paid out on distribution. So stable lang siya. The next fund is Atram Asia Equity Opportunity Feeder Fund. This fund is suitable for investors with aggressive risk profile. Ang target fund niya is JP Morgan Asia Equity Dividend Fund. Annual trust fee is 1.2%. Ang top 10 holdings niya ay naka-invest in Asia's biggest blue-chip companies with strong exposure to semiconductors and digital technology, which are key drivers of AI developments. The top 10 holdings make up 37% of the total fund's portfolio. Sa sector exposure, half ng target fund ay sa financials and technology. Pinakamalaki sa financials, nasa 30%, followed by information technology at 20.5%. And the rest ay diversified across the other sectors. The fund is diversified across 7 key Asian countries and other countries in Asia. Pinakamalaki ang exposure sa China, followed by Taiwan, Australia, and meron din sa Korea, India, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Quarterly ang payout ng dividends. Annualized yield ay 3.52% to 4.18%. Average yield is 3.9%. Lower ang dividends versus Global Multi-Asset Income Fund kasi mas malaki ang potential nito for capital growth. If we exclude the dividends paid out and look only at the fund's price return, the fund delivered around 15% in 1 year and 28% over 3 years. This fund offers a better balance of growth and income. So kung gusto mo ng growth fund na nagbibigay din ng dividends, this fund is a good option. Next fund is Atram Global Dividend Feeder Fund. This is also an equity fund. Ang target fund niya is Fidelity Funds Global Dividend Fund. Annual fees ay 1.10%. Ang top 10 holdings niya ay combination of defensive stocks and growth stocks to offer higher potential return. The top 10 holdings make up 32% of the fund's total portfolio. Ang pinakamalaki niyang holdings ay industrials and financials, which make up 43% of the target fund. And the remaining 57% naman ay nakadiversify sa iba't ibang sectors. The fund's holdings are well diversified across the US, Europe, and developed countries in Asia, Japan, and Taiwan. Pinakamalaki sa US at 25.2%, followed by the UK. Quarterly din ang dividend payout niya at ang annualized yield is 2.2 to 2.45%. Mas mababa ang dividends versus the other funds. Pero mas mataas ang capital appreciation ng fund na ito. This fund delivered higher cumulative returns 3 years, nasa 57.81%. If we exclude the dividends, around 11.5% ang 1-year return and 50% naman ang 3-year return. So it's a growth fund with dividends. Pwede ka mag-invest sa mga funds na ito sa Seedbox. Lahat ng Atram funds ay available sa Seedbox. Meron din sa broker sa First Metrosec FundSmart. Next fund provider is Manulife Investment Management. Meron siyang 5 dividend-paying funds, 4 na funds with monthly dividends at isang fund with semi-annual payout. Ang mga funds na ito are suitable for investors with aggressive risk profile. Among all the funds, Manulife ang pinakamataas ang annual fees, nasa 1.75%. Let's start with Manulife Asia Dynamic Bond Feeder Fund. 100% ng fund ay naka-invest sa target fund. Ang target fund niya is Manulife Global Fund, Asia Total Return Fund. The target fund is invested in fixed income instruments. Biggest holding niya ay treasuries, nasa 34.59%. So, naka-invest sa mga government-related bonds. Included in the top 10 holdings are government bonds issued by countries in Asia such as India, Indonesia, Korea, Malaysia, Japan, and meron ding konti sa US. Malaki ang range sa annualized yield. Ang low end is 3% and high end is 5.4% noong February. Average yield niya is 3.59%. The fund returns are net of fees already and also include the dividends paid out on distribution. Since this is a bond fund, hindi tayo nag-expect ng malaking capital appreciation. Most of the returns come from the regular dividends. Next fund is Manulife Global Preferred Income Feeder Fund. Target fund niya is Manulife Global Fund Preferred Securities Income Fund. Naka-invest ang target fund sa preferred securities. Preferred securities are income-focused investments. Ang target fund niya is diversified across different sectors with strong focus on electric, banking, and insurance. The fund's top 10 holdings are income-generating securities issued by large companies across the US and Canada. Mas stable ang yield ng fund na ito. Nasa 5.16 to 5.64% ang annualized yield. Average yield is 5.48%. Net dividend yield na rin ito. This fund is designed primarily for income. So yung returns niya mostly ay from dividend income. Walang masyadong capital appreciation if we exclude the dividends. Next fund is Manulife Global REIT Feeder Fund. Target fund is Global REIT Fund. Naka-invest ang fund sa REITs globally across different REIT sectors. Pinakamalaki ang allocation niya sa retail REITs, followed by industrial REITs, diversified, and then healthcare REITs. The fund has a strong focus on REITs in the US, pero meron ding based in Australia, Hong Kong, and Canada to provide international exposure. Ang laki ng fluctuation sa yield of the REIT fund, with the low end being 3.24% nitong August and September, and the high end being 6.36% noong April 2025. Average yield is 4.28%. If we look at the one-year return and exclude the dividends, the fund's growth is negative. Pero if we look at the longer term over the past 3 years, positive naman ang growth ng fund if we exclude the dividends paid out. Next is Global Multi-Asset Diversified Income Feeder Fund. The target fund sector holdings include high-yield bonds and developed market equities and equity-related securities. Almost same ang weight ng bonds and equities. The fund is managed to have a balanced exposure between fixed income and equities. Looking at the top 10 holdings of the fund, it's a mix of stable fixed income instruments and growth stocks for growth potential. Malilit lang ang allocation, so madami ang total holdings ng fund na ito. Annualized yield is 5.64% to 6.96%. Bumaba ang yield niya recently. Yung payout niya noong August and September ang pinakamababa. Nasa 5.7%. Below 6% na siya. Average yield is 6.38%. Maganda ang performance ng fund na ito. Meron siyang balance ng growth and income. Next is Manulife Asia Pacific REIT Fund of Funds. This fund doesn't buy individual REITs directly. Instead, nag-invest siya sa other REIT funds. And the funds hold multiple REITs across different countries in the Asia Pacific. 99% ng fund ay naka-invest sa equities. Ang largest holding ay industrial REITs, followed by retail REITs, diversified REITs, and specialized REITs. Ang top 10 holdings niya are listed in Singapore and Hong Kong. Pero yung properties nila are located across multiple countries in the Asia-Pacific region. Ang top holding ay Link REIT, which is a Hong Kong-based REIT and Asia's largest REIT, followed by CapitaLand REIT in Singapore. Semi-annual ang dividend payout ng fund na ito at ang payout schedule is January and July. Annualized yield ng 2025 is 5.21%. So nag-grow ang dividends niya since 2020. If you look at the cumulative performance, walang masyadong growth ang fund. 1 year and 3 year return niya mostly from dividends lang. Wala halos capital appreciation. Pero if you look at the short term, 6 months niya malaki. So recently pa lang siya nakakabawi sa performance. Merong Manulife funds sa GCash and Maya Investa funds. Pero hindi lahat ng Manulife funds na ito ay makikita doon. And available din ang Manulife funds sa mga brokers like Dragonfly Securities, First Metrosec, and Call Financial. Now let's move on to the next fund, ang Sun Life Prosperity World Income Fund. Ang fund provider is Sun Life Asset Management. Ang target fund ay BGF Dynamic High Income Fund. This fund is managed by BlackRock, one of the world's largest asset management companies. This fund is suitable for investors with aggressive risk profile. Monthly ang distribution ng dividends. Annualized yield ay 4.8% to 5.4%. Pero may 10% tax, so average yield ay nasa 4.6%. Sa asset allocation, mas malaki ang allocation niya sa equity. Total equity allocation ay around 58%. Ang fixed income allocation ay around 36%. The top 10 holdings ay mostly fixed income assets like bond ETFs and short-term bank notes. Maraming holdings ang fund na ito kaya maliliit lang din ang kanyang allocation. Sa regional exposure, pinakamalaki ay North America at 69.42% and the remaining 15% ay nakadiversify across emerging markets, Japan, Asia Pacific, and others. 2023 lang na-launch ang fund na ito kaya wala pa siyang 3-year return. And bumaba ang 1-year return ng fund na ito, nasa 2.88%. Ang year-to-date return is 5.99%. Net of fees na rin ang returns and also includes the dividends paid out on distribution. Mas mababa ang annual fees ng Sun Life, nasa 1% versus Atram and Manulife. Pero mas malaki ang initial minimum investment, nasa 10,000 pesos. Unlike the other funds na 1,000 pesos ang initial investment. Next fund is BPI Global Bond Income Fund by BPI Wealth. This fund operates as a multi-class feeder fund. Ang target fund niya is PIMCO GIS Income Fund. Monthly rin ang distribution ng dividend ng fund na ito. Annualized yield ay 5.64% to 6.48%. Average yield is 5.91%. Bago pa lang ang fund na ito, kaya wala pa siyang 1-year performance. Pwede kang mag-invest sa fund na ito sa BPI. Meron din ito sa Call Financial. Last but not the least is ALFM Global Multi-Asset Income Fund. Target fund is BGF Global Multi-Asset Income Fund. This is managed by BlackRock. This fund is suitable for investors with aggressive risk profile. Slightly higher ang allocation niya sa fixed income instruments, making it more income-oriented than growth-oriented. Sa regional exposure, pinakamalaki sa North America at 75.31%, followed by Europe. And the rest are diversified across emerging markets, Asia Pacific, Japan, and others. Top holdings niya ay mix of corporate bonds, high-yield fixed income ETFs, and some US tech stocks for growth. Stable ang monthly dividends ng ALFM. Starting January this year, nag-increase ang dividends niya above 6%. Average annualized yield is 6.1%. Net dividend na rin ito. The cumulative returns also include the dividends paid out and net of fees na rin. If we exclude the dividends paid out, positive pa rin naman ang 1-year and 3-year return niya. Hindi nga lang ganun kalaki ang growth, which is expected kasi dividend income ang focus ng fund na ito. You can include dividend funds sa portfolio mo for diversification. Pero syempre, depende pa rin sa goal mo and risk appetite mo. Meron akong 6 out of the 12 funds that I shared in this video. How about you? Alin sa mga funds na ito ang favorite mo? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.